they've targeted this little area. Why? I haven't the slightest idea.
People in a Lexington neighborhood say they're furious after vandals damaged something that meant a lot to them.
Republican vice presidential nominee Mike Pence taking center stage at the party's convention. But find out why Senator Ted Cruz's speech ended with boos from the crowd.
People in a central Kentucky community met tonight to come up with ways to stop a problem that's become an epidemic.
This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. Thanks for staying up late with us. Some slow-moving storms brought heavy rain to parts of the bluegrass tonight.
The weather is calmer now, but we could be dealing with even more storms tomorrow. We begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and your no-wait weather forecast.
Guys, it's the S&S fire-up that we're talking about. Steam and storms coming back again tomorrow. You mentioned some heavy downpours out there earlier this evening. Interstate 75 was the dividing line. West of the interstate had a couple of pockets of 1/2 to 1 inch of rain. Eastern Kentucky, hey, we had almost full sunshine for the better part of the day. What is out there now? A whole lot of nothing showing up on our Defender radar network across central and eastern Kentucky, though we still have a little weak boundary that is out there. That is really firing up at least the chance for a scattered thunderstorm or two as we go into later tonight and tomorrow morning. Let's fire up the hour-by-hour forecast, see what we can look at. 7 o'clock in the morning, everything is okay. Notice as we get toward 11, middle of the morning, things are still in okay shape. It's once we get into the heart of tomorrow afternoon, we at least have the chance to crank out another thunderstorm. Outside of that, a lot of low 90s will show up with a heat index that will be several degrees hotter than that. So slow down, take it easy, and watch for a heat-busting thunderstorm. It's the fight that continues. Steam and the storms will duke it out in a brand new hour-by-hour forecast that will take you into the start of the weekend at 11:13.
It's a source of pride in one Lexington neighborhood, but police say it's become the target of vandals.
Police say the vandals damaged an American flag and its flagpole in the Blackford Oaks neighborhood off of Man o' War, and repairs will cost thousands of dollars. Sabira Rayford talks to people in the neighborhood in our top story at 11.
It's like they've targeted this little area. Why? I haven't the slightest idea.
Lexington police say Tuesday morning they got a call that someone had desecrated the American flag in the Blackford Oak neighborhood, and this isn't the first time.
Sure enough, that happened, and I thought, who would do such a thing?
Neighbors in the area say they were surprised to hear that the flag had been vandalized again. They say for the most part this is usually a pretty safe neighborhood.
To me, this was outside of heaven. This was, the first stop, and we liked it very much, and we still like it. But now, now that you mentioned this incident, I would say we're both now going to be a little uneasy.
Jesus Garcia says he's only lived in the neighborhood for 1 year. After the neighborhood's flag display was vandalized on Memorial Day, Garcia says he thought it was an isolated incident, especially since the neighborhood added extra security features to the pole. He lives near the flag, and the news of its recent vandalization has him on edge.
It's not going to make me move, but it just is going to make me second thoughts about how I interact with people.
In Lexington, Sabira Rayford, WKYT.
Lexington police have not made any arrests for the vandalism, but they say they will increase patrols around the neighborhood.
Tonight, Indiana Governor Mike Pence formally accepting the Republican nomination for vice president. He gave a speech at the GOP convention in the last hour. But an earlier speech by Texas Senator Ted Cruz ended in boos. Craig Boswell has the latest now from Cleveland.
Indiana Governor Mike Pence accepted the Republican nomination for Vice President of the United States.
Now, we'll win because we're running on the issues facing this country and because we're leveling with the American people about the stakes and the choice.
Pence laid out why he believes Trump is the right person to lead the country.
You have nominated a man for president who never quits, who never backs down, a fighter, a winner.
Former rival Ted Cruz only mentioned Trump once and urged Republicans to vote for candidates they trust.
Stand and speak and vote your conscience.
Cruz was booed when he did not endorse Trump despite demands from the crowd. The goal here is to unite the Republican Party behind its nominee and give him some momentum. The family affair continued with Trump's son, Eric, who talked up his father.
He has defied the predictions of every single political pundit and turned traditional debates into must-see TV.
Trump's daughter, Ivanka, will take the stage tomorrow night before her father's big moment when he accepts the Republican nomination for president. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Cleveland.
Now, Kentucky State Senator Ralph Alvarado of Winchester was among tonight's speakers at the convention, and he talked about his parents immigrating to this country to provide a better life for their family.
Everything I am, everything I've achieved, I owe to God and my parents. My father was a proud legal immigrant from Costa Rica, my mother from Argentina. And being the son of immigrants, I saw firsthand their sacrifice to provide our family a better life.
The state senator spoke in Spanish during part of his speech, asking Latinos to vote for Republicans and Donald Trump come November. New tonight, 3 men now facing charges after police say video shows them shoving a protester at a Donald Trump rally in Louisville earlier this year. Louisville police say that Matthew Heimbach, Alvin Baumberger, and Joseph Pryor have all been charged with harassment. That's a misdemeanor. Investigators say that Heimbach is a leader with a white supremacist group. The victim, Shia Wanguma, says that she was protesting peacefully at the rally in March when she says the men pushed her and called her racist and sexist slurs. She's also filed a lawsuit against the 3 men.
Tonight, police have charged a woman they say stole more than $1 million from the Jessamine County business where she worked. They say 65-year-old Joyce Minton was the bookkeeper for Clark Tool & Die. Police say she embezzled the money over an 11-year period. They say managers of the business trusted Minton and even saw her as a close family friend.
The office manager was in charge of keeping the books. The office manager was in charge of writing the checks. And that's why, what we found is that she was able to hide it for so long.
Police charged Minton with theft. They also charged her son, Aaron Warren, who worked for Clark Tool & Die as well. Police say he used company money to buy an engine for a race car. There are new developments tonight in the investigation into a missing Nelson County mother. Crystal Rogers hasn't been seen since last July. Police say her boyfriend, Brooks Hauk, is a suspect, but so far he's not been charged. Today, Hauk's grandmother, Anna Whitesides, agreed to answer questions prepared by prosecutors at a later date. Prosecutors say those questions will center around a white Buick she once owned. Investigators think the car may have been used to get rid of Rogers' body. Rogers' family hopes they're getting closer to answers in the case.
I don't feel like I got anywhere today, honestly. I mean, I want more. I just want more. I want her to answer them questions today, not a month from now, 2 months from now. I want it today.
Rogers' family says they're frustrated. The answers Whitesides gives will be private and all documents will be sealed.
Earlier this week, we told you about a sudden spike in heroin overdose deaths in Boyle County. The coroner said that 5 people have died in just the last few weeks. So tonight, some in the community gathered for a meeting designed to address that problem. And among those there, people whose lives have been affected by the drug epidemic. Monique Blair has the story new at 11.
We have a serial killer on the loose.
They were powerful words, but the message behind them was intended to be powerful.
We got to get it out to the people that are currently addicted, that there is something, it is cut with something, and from my research about what's been going on, I think it's probably a substance called carfentanil. Carfentanil is a fentanyl-related opiate. It's a synthetic opiate. It is actually used to sedate elephants.
As a way to bring awareness to this drug epidemic, many people who have been affected by addiction shared their stories.
It's hard to lose a child.
And I do not want to have to worry about my boys picking up syringes in their local parks.
I always told my son, I said, don't never follow the group. Don't do what a group tell you. But he did. And so my son's an addict.
So now the big question is, what can you do to help? For the more than 100 people who came together tonight in Danville, the first step was coming together. But there is so much more that can be done.
Dr. Eric Grant says drug and addiction experts need to get into the schools and educate kids, and communities need to be vigilant.
And we need to run these drug dealers out of this county, out of this region. They need to know if they come to Danville, they're going to jail.
The meeting ended with a group promise that they would continue to fight this epidemic until it's over.
There are those that are affected by the disease, and there are those that haven't. And so it would require all of our voices.
In Danville, Monique Blair, WKYT.
And the group that organized this meeting, FIGHT, which stands for Families into Getting Help Together, will meet again on August 8th.
New tonight, state police have arrested a man they say menaced one of their troopers. They say Jeffrey Duncan's car pulled behind an off-duty trooper's car in Lawrenceburg and started following him. Police say Duncan tailgated the car and even flashed high beams for a couple of miles. When the trooper stopped at a Walmart, they say Duncan followed him inside and the two got into a confrontation. Duncan now faces multiple charges, including menacing, resisting arrest, and disorderly conduct.
It's normally filled with Big Blue fans, but this afternoon, Pokemon hunters took over Commonwealth Stadium. A look inside this unique event in 10 minutes.
And then why the state capitol and the governor's mansion were lit up in blue tonight.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Temperatures today making a run at the upper 80s to low 90s, depending on where you were. Then all of a sudden, boom, some thunderstorms hit. And you can look at a temperature map comparing now to last night, and it shows you who got the rain. Take a look at the numbers now into central Kentucky, heart of the bluegrass region, with a big blob of blue showing 5 degrees cooler than at this same point last night. Why are we cooler here and not so much in eastern Kentucky? Well, it rained across the bluegrass region late afternoon heading into the early evening. 70 in Mount Sterling, 72 Lexington. Watch out if you had rain outside your house. Fog, maybe a little thick first thing tomorrow morning. Mainly low 70s out there. Let's look to the north. Did not have very much rain at all into parts of Indiana and Ohio. Those late evening temperatures are a little warmer. Western Kentucky had a ton of rain. Some spots out here at close to 2 inches again today. Right now, Lexington 72 degrees. Winds are calm. And as we roll our way into the day tomorrow, did you like today's weather? Then you're probably going to like tomorrow's weather. Very similar, upper 80s to low 90s, depending on exactly where you are into central and eastern Kentucky. And that chance, especially bluegrass region, for a stray shower or thunderstorm to go up into the afternoon and evening. Nothing showing up on our Defender radar network for now. That boundary is still out there for areas just to our west. So the breakdown will include the chance for a thunderstorm or two around tomorrow. Temperatures on Friday have a chance to get to 90 to 95 degrees. That would be the hottest day we've had so far this summer, but we've got to do it without a thunderstorm. A thunderstorm gets in the middle of the afternoon, it crashes the temperatures, but it can feel like 100 degrees because of the high humidity. A storm or two around, it is still awfully toasty on Saturday as well. Here's the new hour by hour. We'll take you for the rest of the week into the very start of the weekend. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Some of this can be fog out there, and it can be locally thick at times. Already mid to upper 80s at noontime. Then look what happens at 2 o'clock. Notice how the model is again trying to spit out some thunderstorms in just about the same areas that picked up some thunderstorms today. And look what it does through 5 o'clock. A lot of this action is along 75 and west, very similar to what happened today. And that makes sense considering that weak boundary that is still out there. That'll be the focusing mechanism to get at least a scattered thunderstorm into the afternoon. Eastern Kentucky may not see a whole lot. Into Friday morning, it is tropical. The humidity is going to be absolutely off the charts. And then into the afternoon, watch out for some thunderstorms to try to go up. And again, those temperatures 90 to 95 outside of a thunderstorm. But this model at that point thinks a thunderstorm is on top of Moorhead. Look what it does to the temperatures. So you can see what we're talking about. Storm chances then ramp up late weekend into the first few days of next week. And all told, models don't do very well with thunderstorms. Individual boomers can drop a whole lot more. But all told, they're trying to spit out an inch or two of rain over the next week into central and eastern Kentucky. And the majority of that would come late weekend into next week outside of any booming thunderstorm over the next few days. It is steamy all the way through the weekend. Normal highs this time of year are upper 80s. It's the hottest time of the year into central and eastern Kentucky historically. And right now, at least for this summer, it's been a seasonal summer so far and will be seasonally hot over the next week.
Guess we're all going to sweat it out together in the seasonally hot
That's
weather
exactly
you've got
right.
for us.
And I'm telling you, next week I think the storms win the battle again. I think we're going back into a stormy setup.
Well, again, we should be complaining, that's for
right.
sure.
And some drivers in Cincinnati came to a halt today, all because of a group of horses. The unusual traffic jam in 8 minutes. A widespread computer outage caused headaches for people traveling with Southwest Airlines today.
Southwest had to cancel about 20 flights and delay more than 200 because of the outage. For about 3 hours, travelers couldn't buy tickets, check in for flights, or check a flight status on the airline's website. Tonight, Southwest leaders say they're still trying to get their computer system back to normal, and they're working with passengers. New tonight, police have arrested a man they say led them on a chase with 5 children in his car. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office says they tried to pull over 23-year-old Brandon Fouch last night on Ravenswood Circle, but they say he wouldn't stop and led them on a chase. At one point, police say speeds reached 60 miles per hour in the neighborhood. They say Fouch finally stopped. Police say his wife, his 5-month-old child, and 4 other children were in the car with him. Fouch faces multiple charges, including wanton endangerment.
New tonight, a special salute in Frankfort for police officers in Kentucky and around the country. Both the state capitol and the governor's mansion were lit up in blue tonight. In a Facebook post, Governor Matt Bevin said it was in honor of a thin blue line. Kentucky State Police replied with their thanks on Facebook. The governor says the 2 buildings will be lit up in blue again tomorrow night.
Pokemon fans say they have to catch them all, and today their quest took them inside Commonwealth Stadium. UK opened the stadium for a few hours this afternoon so Pokemon Go players could hunt for Pokemon. Officer Don flew over the stadium in Sky First. Our Garrett Weimer talked to some people who showed up to play.
Before the gates even opened,
well, it's got all the different Pokemon.
The Poke players were ready.
Obviously, we've got a big Pokemon fan here. Can't lie, I'm a little bit excited too.
At the stroke of 4:30,
who has the Pokemon theme song?
They wasted no time getting inside and getting to work.
It's moving? There you go. Thanks. Did you guys get in?
Problem was, for a lot of people,
no, servers are down.
The game's server problems meant they couldn't get the app to load, a common issue with the game since it launched.
Scale of the 1 to 10, I'd say 10. Makes me mad.
But once it started working, there were Pokemon all over the field here at Commonwealth Stadium. A lot of different people had a lot of things they like about the game.
My favorite part personally is like when you get to throw the Pokeballs at them.
Like seeing all the different gyms and Pokestops around. And like you see like a bunch of people at the different Pokestops and everything.
Jack, who's your favorite Pokemon?
Pikachu.
For the nearly 1,400 who came out to Commonwealth Stadium,
I'm actually happy to be on the field. I don't even care about Pokemon now.
It was about more than trying to catch them all.
Just enjoy being on the field. That's all I got to say right there.
In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And that was certainly Garrett Weimer's most favorite assignment there. In Louisville, the Kentucky Derby Museum and Churchill Downs are offering a Pokemon Go tour on Friday and Sunday. You can get access to stops around the track that are normally off limits to the public this time of year. The cost, $15 per person.
An unusual traffic jam in Cincinnati today. A group of horses caused it. Police say the horses somehow got loose near Interstate 74 and ended up traveling along the road. At one point, police shut down the interstate in both directions while the horses were rounded up. Tonight, those horses are all safe and sound.
And that is good news because it's certainly busy in that area. Yeah. Up next, we're going to hear from a Wildcat who believes he can make a difference this season.
Well, that would be linebacker Courtney Love. He has no problem with being an underdog. And Jacob Tamme talking about his upcoming season with the Atlanta Falcons. It'll be his 9th year in the NFL. Sports is next on WKYT. The UK defense needs some players to step up at linebacker this fall, and among them is Courtney Love, the transfer from Nebraska. Now, Love could end up playing a key role at the middle linebacker spot that was held down by Josh Forrest. He sat out last season. He knows there are many who will overlook Kentucky.
I loved when people underestimate you, because that gives you a chance to really get underneath them and hit them in the mouth. That's a big thing, I think, what our team is going to be. We have to want it. We have to want it a lot more than anybody else. We're obviously, underdogs. So it's gonna take a lot of pride. Be tough. We gotta, show guys that we earn the right to be in this, in this league, in the SEC.
Former Wildcat Jacob Tamme will soon be heading to training camp with the Atlanta Falcons. After playing for Indianapolis and Denver, Tammy spent last year in Atlanta. He caught 59 passes. He feels good about the Falcons heading into this year.
I really feel like we got better as a team, you know, more so than maybe anywhere that I've been so far. I feel great, feel healthy, feel as good in year 9 as I did early in my career, which is a great blessing and is exciting. So I feel like my best football could still be in front of me, which is a pretty cool feeling to have. And I'm excited for our team. I think we did have a great offseason. I think we can really grow off of what we did last year.
Sasha Killia-Jones is one of the talented freshmen that John Calipari has coming in for this season. The 6'10", 6'11" forward won a state championship at Virginia Episcopal. He's been a part of 2 AAU national championship teams. Killia-Jones was the first commitment for the Kentucky class last August, and he promises effort.
Like I said, I want to go out and give my best, and if I don't do that, then I feel like I failed personally. Like I feel every time you go on the court, the one thing you can really control is your effort. So that's my main goal for this year, is to go out there and just give maximum effort and prove why I'm here and just prove myself more and more every time I step on the court. We came here to win. We came here to work hard and everything. We've all been doing that. And even in pickup, you know, it's a really competitive atmosphere. We're going for a national championship. That's the goal. There's anything short of that is a failure, really.
6 new members will be inducted into the UK Athletics Hall of Fame in September. Rich Brooks led the Cats to 4 straight bowl games, winning 3. Molly Johnson-Belcher, UK's first All-American in softball. Chuck Hayes, 7th in rebounds, an 11-year NBA vet. Bernadette Madigan-Dugan, first UK female to win a national track title. That was the 2-mile run in 1982. James Johnson, 3-time SEC medalist, now on the Olympic training staff. And Wesley Woodyard, first team All-SEC twice, has played 8 years now in the NFL. And Jeff Gordon is coming out of retirement to drive for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Gordon will be behind the wheel for this weekend's Brickyard 400, also at Pocono. Jr. still sidelined with concussion-like symptoms. That's sports. Stay with us. We'll wrap it up after the break.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is less than a minute away right here on WKYT, and tonight's guests include Tony Goldwyn and Mark Cuban.
Guess what? More of the same tomorrow in the old weather department, right?
It's the S&S show. It is steam and some storms out there. Temperatures tomorrow will hit the upper 80s to low 90s. A little heat-busting thunderstorm, especially bluegrass region and west. Sound familiar? That's a lot like today. 90 to 95 on Friday. Friday may end up being the hottest day of the summer so far.
Great to see a guy like Jacob Tamme doing so well in the NFL.
It's amazing. He's been fantastic. 9th year.
Always a good one to watch. Thanks for staying up late with us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.